If you have been close to a narcissist, you have in some form experienced a smear campaign, either directed against you or directed against someone else. This is like one of the basic tools in their toolbox. And it's one that you need to understand. I think that often it is spoken about like in the post-separation smear campaign. Like after the relationship is over, then they will smear you. And like that's a no-brainer. And it's very easy to spot, especially if you are being the target of that smear campaign. It is very hurtful to be the target of a smear campaign. When you know the truth, like I didn't do those things. I did my best, like more than enough. And yet they're blaming me for everything. It is hurtful when people might believe it, and when they take this, like put distance, or like when relationships are going sour because of smearing of you with lies. But smearing and like smear campaigns, from my experience, it is something that goes on a lot in like all around the narcissist and like in the ongoing relationships. If like me, you grew up in a narcissistic family system, there was probably a scapegoat in your family, like the person who was blamed a lot and who was blamed when something went wrong, and who was like the bad kid. The narcissist uses smearing in order to blame someone and scapegoat them and like direct attention away from themselves toward that person. And also like it's an internal defense mechanism, like the projection. They need to have someone to project onto when something goes wrong. Then they need to blame someone because they can't look within and take responsibility themselves. But smearing serves much more, like more purposes than just scapegoating. They use smearing in order to separate and isolate. So if there is a friend group or a family group, then they will create suspicion and animosity, like between the members of the group. The narcissist becomes the person that each member of the group have a really good and close relationship with. And that's what they want. They want you to confide in them and to put your trust in them. And they want you to believe them when they paint part of reality as they like it. And they don't want you to trust in other people, like other friends, other family members. They want you to keep a bit of a distance to them. So they will often hint at people being jealous of you, someone having spoken badly about you, or someone doesn't like you. And it's often done very sneakily. This is where they use the dark empathy, their ability to read feelings and to know like what would hurt you and what things you dislike or which part that you're ashamed of. And then they can probe you a bit and say something small, like a little seed of, your sister said that you had it much easier than her in school, so you shouldn't be so proud of having graduated. And then they will read your reaction to that. What they want you to do is to react with feelings like, well, she doesn't know how I struggled, and then get worked up, and then they can drop you some more information. because they're typically mixing the truth with just the right amount of lies. It's very hard to tell. If you were to check the facts, then you might very well find that, well, they actually spoke about education and your sister praised you for being so clever and like going through school so smoothly. But in the narcissist's mouth, then it gets twisted. The smear campaign is used to isolate people from each other, create confusion, but it's also used to create an us and them feeling, like it's the oldest trick of the manipulator. Create a feeling that it's us against them, like the enemy, and that makes you trust them and it binds you closer, like you are on the same team, so you have to stick together. As distance is created between you and other people, then you are investing more energy and time into the relationship with the toxic person. It gives them more control. And all the drama and conflict, it also creates confusion, and it's hard to know like which person said what and who is really on my side, and am I the problem? So when they are your friend and they drop all these hints about people being against you or being envious or people thinking that and that, then when you go into a conflict, then they can use that and twist it around and say, well, I'm not the only one that thinks like this. You're the problem. Like, you can't even get along with your own family. So when a person is smeared by the narcissist, it's either like they are against you, or they are in general just a bad and conniving person, or they have tricked and done something and victimized the narcissist. Or another common friend, like one person that's on the narcissist's good side. But does that mean that anyone who tries to tell that another person is toxic and having hidden motives are doing a smear campaign? Well, no, that person might actually be a victim and they are trying to warn you about a toxic person. And it can be very hard to discern like what's actually correct in this situation. When you are in the presence of a smear campaign, then it's time to turn on the alert. It means that one of the persons are toxic, and it might be both. Like the person who is telling you and warning you about another person, that might be correct. Like they might be a survivor trying to warn you about the narcissist. But it might be the opposite way around. So it might be the narcissist trying to warn you about the survivor to discredit them. Or it might be two toxic individuals that are having a fallout. I've seen that as well. When two narcissists meet each other, like my mother and my ex-husband, they instantly disliked each other. So if someone is sincerely trying to warn you, then you can listen to what they are saying if you feel comfortable. But then it's time to put on your own like reality checking glasses and be a bit extra alert to what is going on around you. My best advice, how to know if the person who is trying to warn you is toxic or not, is to look at their behavior. Are they having a lot of conflicts? Like, is it just one conflict after another with employers, friends, therapists? Like, are they constantly claiming to be victimized? Then that is like a warning signal. But the biggest sign for me is actually when I feel that underlying expectation. Like there is an expectation that I should agree with them and that they won't be happy if I don't play along. Like that feeling doesn't come when you're talking to a safe person who is just trying to share and give you a heads up. When you have been through abuse and toxicity, it's necessary and healthy to be able to unload, unpack parts of that and retell the story. Apart from telling our story as part of healing or educating others, then I think we should be careful about talking about other people as a habit. Like if you have a habit of gossiping when you get together with your friends and then you talk about someone who's not there and sharing their personal details, that is something that I think that you should be careful about. It's easy to get drawn into it, and then you might make a joke or say something or share something that you shouldn't. And a person who is toxic can use that information to draw wedges between people in the group. And also, it damages your relationship with that person just a little bit, unnecessarily, because on some level you know that you have hurt them or spoken badly about them, and you will not really feel good about it afterwards, even if it feels fun in the moment. So I think that's one of those habits that it's good to work out of your pattern of interacting. And also you could easily be drawn into listening to a smear campaign or fueling a smear campaign by participating in that. When a smear campaign is used against you, it's tempting to try to fight back or to try to tell people about how bad they acted and share your side of the story. That is something that works in the narcissist's favor. Then it really becomes conflict and drama, and then people really have to take sides. And then they can really play the victim, the victim of your lies. And if they have gotten to people first and told them their version, then it's really hard to say anything. We have this bias, when we have accepted a truth, then it is very hard to sway us from that view. So it will be very hard for you to sway someone by the things that you are saying. And if you are trying to then share some truths about a toxic person, then that might make them pull away from you even more and towards that toxic person. The smear campaign doesn't always work. My ex-husband tried to smear me to a few people, and all of them actually got mad at him because they had seen our relationship without me having to defend myself. He really annoyed some people by trying to smear me. I have also seen how narcissists may be very successful in smearing people a couple of times, but then for those who are still with them, family and such, when they have done that to several people, then it gets pretty obvious that if you irritate this person, then they will put you out in the cold, then they will smear you. So they sort of discredit themselves in the end because they continue to use the same toolbox. The best defense against the smear campaign is to prove it wrong through your actions and your life. So the narcissist is trying to paint you or smear you. They're trying to make you appear to some people in a different light. But eventually it will die out, especially if you are in no contact with a toxic person. There will be nothing more to say about you. They can't continue to talk about you forever, and they always want some fresh drama to put their teeth into. As you continue to live your life and you continue to try your best to do what is right and to build something that is stable and that you are proud of, then that will be the truth. Like, that will be what people see when they look at you. And what one person who is, as time goes by, revealing themselves to be toxic, that voice will hold little value. Especially hurtful is if you're being smeared online, because then it can reach a lot of people and many of them may not know you personally. But because this is happening, all the narcissists now have an internet access. So this is happening everywhere and people are being smeared left and right. So eventually that will pass as well. It will drown in all the the buzz, the noise of the internet. So the important thing is what you're doing in your reality, in your life. That is what matters. That's what's creating the real outcome. And that is what will be your witness against their smearing. I'm Emma, holding up a light over the bridge. Remember, there is always a way out. There is always a way forward. Please be safe, take care, and have a great day.